Namaskar. Today we will be talking about the different goddesses of Mumbai. So, human beings appeared in Mumbai about half a million years ago and has left behind their stone tools which have been found at Kandivli. The Bible refers to trade with Ophir, that is Sopara, some 3000 years ago, which can be substantiated by linguistic evidence. Sopara or Shurparakha, which is a suburb of Mumbai, was a principal seaport of India and frequently figures in Buddhist literature and also the accounts of classical writers. Ashoka, in around 272 to 32 BCE, installed his edicts at Sopara and built a stupa here. It was later enlarged in the time of Yajnashri Satkarni. So, Mumbai was a trade center from an early period when Sopara, Kalyan and Chaul flourished during the Mauryan and Satavahana times, which is about 300 BCE to 300 CE. But in the post-Satavahana era, Puri or Gharapuri rose its prominence. In fact, it has been described in the Miguti temple inscription at Ehole of the Chalukyan monarch Pulakeshin II that it could be described as a goddess of the Western Sea. This perfectly fits Mumbai, which is truly the goddess of prosperity of the Western Sea. So today we will look at the goddess of prosperity of the Western Sea, which is not only about one but many goddesses of Mumbai. And also it's not just the name Mumbai that comes from one goddess, but some of the most famous areas and of India's commercial capital are named after Devis or goddesses, which in many ways have helped shape the city. To begin with, Jogeshwari. In the ancient time, it was a port of Sopara, which is present in Nala Sopara, and the Buddhist complex at Kanheri, that was a commercial and religious hub of the region. However, Hinduism began to thrive in the region from about 5th century onwards under the rule of Mauryas of Konkan. They were followed by the rule of Vakatakas, under whose rule Jogeshwari caves in the Jogeshwari area of Mumbai were excavated. Incredibly, these are the oldest known Hindu cave temples in Western India, dating to around 500 century CE. It was also the shrine of the Pashupata sect, and on one of the walls was a panel of the Sapta Matrikas, or the 7 mother goddesses associated with Shiva. Goddess Yogeshwari was one of them who, over the centuries, for reasons still unknown, it was she who emerged as the main deity of the cave. And soon the caves in the locality bore her name. Even today you can see the idol and footprints of Goddess Yogeshwari at the cave temple. Then we move to Prabhadevi. Through the text, that is Mahakavitatsi Bhatkar, a compilation of poems written in the 14th century, we come to know about a king named Raja Bhimdev. It is probable that Raja Bhimdev was the first king of the city Mumbai. He left Patan in Gujarat around 1294 CE, and then he settled down with his followers in Mumbai region. There is also another belief that he could have come from the southern era of the Chalukyans. It is said that he brought the idol of goddess Prabhavati with him from Patan and installed it near the palace, which is today known as Prabhadevi, and in the area of Dadar. The temple today is a modern temple, but there is a possibility that there could have been an ancient temple built around that time. Legend goes to say that to protect the deity from invaders, the pujaris hid the idol in the neighboring well, where it remained for around 300 years underwater, until one day she appeared in the dream of a local named Sham Nayak and revealed her location. It was then when the present temple was built in 1715 CE. Then we move to Mahalakshmi. In the 18th century, the British were reclaiming the sea and connecting the 7 islands of Mumbai. The work to connect the Bombay Island with the Worli Island was entrusted to the government engineer named Sri Ramjiv Shivji Prabhu. But despite his best efforts, the work failed because the sea waves that kept destroying the embankments. One day, goddess Mahalakshmi appeared in Ramji's dream and asked him to take her out of the sea and place her on a nearby hillock. The next day, he found 3 idols of Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, and Mahasaraswati washed ashore from the Arabian Sea. On the successful completion of his work, Ramji built a temple to the goddess on the hillock. The temple record shows that it was constructed between 1761 and 1771 CE. Today, the entire area is known as Mahalakshmi. And then we move to Mumbai. The Mumbai city itself owes its name to Mumbai temple located in Zaveri Bazaar. It is believed that it was a small shrine of the Koli community. Some scholars believe that the original name may have been Munga Devi, a common female name among the Kolis, which later got corrupted to Mumbai Devi. While the most commonly known legend of Mumbai Devi is reported by Raghunath Ji in his 1900 inventory, Hindu Temples in Bombay. According to him, the myth is based on a Sanskrit Puran of unknown date and authorship. So according to this version, Brahma initially favored Mumbaraka and granted him the benefit of eternal life. However, the gods saw that Mumbaraka had betrayed their trust and was harassing the inhabitants of Mumbai. They implored Vishnu and Shiva to intervene. Together, they created the Devi with the explicit purpose of destroying Mumbaraka. In the ensuring fight, Mumbaraka was defeated. And in the defeat, the goddess invited Mumbaraka to make a wish. He wished that his name and hers be joined together, and that's how Mumbai Devi assumes the name. Ever since then, the people of Mumbai have worshipped the goddess Mumbai Devi. Her temple was originally built 500 years ago by the Koli fishermen community when what is now Mumbai was a collection of 7 islands with just 10,000 residents. She was the presiding deity. The present murti is made of sand, which is again about 400 to 500 years old. In 1800, the temple was built at Bori Bandar, but for the construction of the Victoria Terminus, which is now CST, it was moved to Fansi Talao in Esplanade. Subsequently, the Esplanade was acquired by the British for parades and the temple moved to Dhobi Talao. At last, in the late 1800s, it made its one final move to its current location. It now stands 2 miles north of the Gateway of India in the midst of Zaveri Bazaar, Asia's biggest jewelry market. As per Raghunath Ji's book, the Mumbai Devi complex had a 5 feet high image of Mumbai Devi accompanied by a 1 foot image of Annapurna to the left of the main goddess. Annapurna was also seated on a stone peacock during festival as per this book. But it seems in the 20th century, Jagdamba or Durga was added to these 2 goddesses. Presently, Mumbai Devi is an imposing shrine of Jagdamba, Mumbai Devi and Annapurneshwari, showering benevolence on the worshippers. And from Mumbai Devi, we move to now Shitla Devi. The Shitla Devi temple in Mahim has its origins shrouded in mystery. It is speculated that the goddess may have been brought to Mahim by Raja Bhimdev in the 13th century. This is the same Raja Bhimdev who also brought the goddess Prabhavati at Prabhadevi. Now, Raja Bhimdev is believed to have shifted his capital here in Mahikavati, which is a modern day Mahim. Mahikavati also happened to be a goddess then. So he shifted his capital from Kelve in Thane district, which was the first capital after he moved from Patan in Gujarat. What is most interesting is that there is a very ancient Shitla Devi temple in Kelve as well, and Kelve is known as Kelve Mahim. However, in the absence of hard historical evidence, it is very difficult to corroborate it. It is believed that he built a palace in Prabhadevi, propitiated the worship of Prabhadevi, and as well, he is believed to have built the first Babulnath temple. Coming back to Shitla Devi, Shitla is seen as a cleansing, cooling force and is worshipped when people have communicable diseases like smallpox, measles, sores, and cholera. Her hands holds a broom, a winnowing fan, a vial of water, and a pot of pulses. In the temple of Mahim, Shitla Devi is a face of stone with a brightly painted eyes on black color stone. From Shitla Devi, we move a little ahead, Manmala Devi, which is at Matunga Road. The temple's name, Sri Sat Asra Manmala Devi Mandir, indicates it is one of the Maharashtra's many temples dedicated to the seven sister goddesses. Legend has it that these wives of the seven sages who were accused of infidelity when they became pregnant, they turned angry at the accusation. And in Matunga Shrine, these seven idols reside here. In Matunga, the seven stone idols have a following among the locals. Devotees also come here for the well by the temple, the water which is said to cure skin diseases. And now we move to Suvarna Nagadevi. At the Sri Mahashisha Rundamali temple in Pavai, 9 goddesses are worshipped, including Lakshmi, Nagdevi, Saraswati, Navdurga, Rakteshwari, and even Madhumari. Devotees spread across in faiths have been coming since the temple was sanctified in 1963. The Nag Devi is believed to be the protector for her devotees from snake bites. We now move to Matunga, to Marubai Devi. Many believe that Matunga's original name was Marubai Tekadi Gao, from the local goddess Maru, who had a small temple on a hillock, what is now King Circle. As the roads and the neighborhood came under planned development, the temple moved close to where Aurora Cinema now stands. And then we come to Gao Devi. Now Gao Devi is at Grant Road, Masgao, Tardeo, Juhu, Andheri, Ghatkopar, Borivali, and Thane. Gao Devi or Gam Devi simply means village goddess. So it explains why so many neighborhoods have one, that is so many villages, and the village goddess. They are considered by some people to be the incarnations of Durga. So they are usually located on top of the hill so that the deity could watch over to the people. Many also built near the sea to protect from floods and storm. And the one near Dockyard Road is believed to have been built by the Maratha commander Chimaji Appa. Now we move to Worli at Golfa Devi. She is right off the sea link on the way to Worli Fort and counts the local fisher folk as followers. Golfa Devi sits between her two sisters, Harba Devi and Sagba Devi, and is famous for the way she is worshipped. Devotees tend to ask her questions which can be answered in yes or no, which is generally known as Kaul in Marathi. Then we move to Mud Island, where is the temple of Harba Devi. Harba Devi is, as discussed just right now, is sister of Golfa Devi. So the sister of Golfa Devi, Worli's Golfa Devi, has her own temple by the sea at Mud Island, with followers among the fishing community. Though the temple is new, archaeological evidence are found around it with connections to 13th century of the Yadva era. And then we move right to the Kaffarat, which is a Khada Devi, a temple built around the Swayambhu self-arising stone image said to be that of Khada Devi. Khada Devi is the goddess of the Kaffarat Koli village. but the shrine is now located within the compound of Kolaba police station about a kilometer away. In such a way, Mumbai also has other Devis. The Wagh Devi temples now found in the urban forests like Parel, Thane and Nala Sopara, which were once located in thick tiger-infested forest, and the locals prayed to the Wagh Devi for protection from tiger, while the Nag Devi in Powai protected her devotees from snake bites, while Shitla Devi protected the devotees from epidemics. Today, the tigers, the snakes, and the epidemics and the villages have all disappeared from the city of Mumbai. But the temples of these goddesses of Mumbai still draw devotees just as they did centuries ago. And therefore, the urban complex, this urban city, this maximum city Mumbai, has its history or her story of goddesses, which makes Mumbai. Hope you enjoyed this episode on the goddesses of Mumbai. Similarly, we will look at the seven sisters from Goa. Thank you so much for joining us.